Okay, awesome. So, we're sorry about those technical difficulties. We're starting a little bit late today, but it looks like we've got everything figured out. We're just going to be doing a little bit of an interview with our web development team. That web development team consists of Barton and Erratic Errors. My name's Creeping. I'm going to be conducting this kind of interview we're going here. And yeah, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Just a quick little intro, name, how long you've been playing Squad, stuff like that. So Erratic, you want to start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Erratic. I'm playing Squad since last April. I joined Squad Ups like a month or two after that because I was trying to join another clan. And I think Karma linked his own Discord in that clan's Discord server. And I joined this and etc.
Cool. The
Wait,
rest
you
was
didn't
go ahead.
you didn't join right after IB? Or like you didn't you weren't there for like the transition basically?
Oh, like that's when I was there, if that wasn't clear.
Well, that's when it started. So that's when
Yeah. Yeah.
All
That's
right,
why I'm
well,
confused.
let's introduce the second guy that's talking here. That's Barton. You can go ahead and do a quick
Hello.
little intro for yourself.
Yeah, my name is Barton. I am the web dev team manager. I've been with like Squad Ops and doing Squad Ops stuff since day one that Squad Ops came out, or like before Squad Ops was really even Squad Ops. I don't remember what we called it before then. Yeah, right from like IB to Squad Ops. For those that don't know, IB was a clan that myself, Karmakut, Erratic, and a bunch of other people that started Squad Ops off. Like we're all in that clan before we started Squad Ops.
Cool. So, you guys are the manager and assistant team lead for the web development team. I'll just, let's just get started into it. What does that team do?
So we
I know that's kind of
do
broad.
well, we actually do a lot more than web dev. So like it's even broader than what it may appear. So we run basically all the development for like the website, the forums, the Discord bot. We've got some archon tools and a bunch of internal tools that we use to basically do everything. So we basically do everything development wise other than mod dev. Anything that's not directly related to Squad.
Okay. Let's see. So you guys are doing a lot of kind of programming then, it seems like, sort of behind the scenes. Do you guys have any like professional experience with that stuff? Or is it kind of a side hobby?
I have, depending on your definition of like professional, I've been doing development for a very long time. Probably almost, I would say about 8 years now. For professionally, if you want to call like since like getting paid to do development work. Serious, like real serious professional work in the last year and a half, 2 years maybe. Two and a half. Oh, time goes quick. What about you, Erratic?
I have maybe like 3 years in development experience. None professional itself. All been a side hobby. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Do you guys have like expertise in any specific kind of developing? Like, I know you do like a very broad amount of it for the web dev team. But is your experience mostly in like, website design or anything like that?
I'd say for me, So I'm pretty across the board. What's known as kind of like a term called like full stack. Basically, for every step of the way, like every part of the chain of having experience with and being familiar to be able to work on it on any part. I really haven't like become an expert in any part of that chain. I'm probably best at just everything on the back end side of things. So like our API, and what that is, that's basically like the communication layer between the website and the forums and Discord and the bot, and it's the central point that manages the transfer of all the information of everything we interact with to like the databases that we have, to other databases, to Steam. It's the communication layer basically.
Okay. Erratic, what about you? I know you said that none of your experience was professional, but do you have anything that you really enjoy doing as far as development or programming?
My favorite sort of area is like C#. That's a programming language. But that doesn't really relate to what we do at Squad Ops. My favorite thing that relates to Squad Ops is messing with Discord's API, which works basically the same as our API, and I have pretty good experience with that.
All right, yeah. So it sounds like you would be doing a lot of work with our bot then, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we have a bot on our own Discord that manages to do a lot of things automatically that we were having to do manually, and it saves so much, time, manpower, all that sort of stuff. And Erratic, you just said you are one of the primary or the primary developer for that bot.
He gave birth to the bot.
He gave birth to the bot.
For a while, it was just like one small thing running on my own computer.
How did you
Toy.
originally term it? What was the post that we had in Slack? Or like where it's ran out like
It ran out of a closet with an extension cord running to it from the bathroom to power.
Oh man, some real do it at home stuff.
That's how we do it with Squad Ops.
Yeah, just jimmy some stuff together, slap some duct tape on it, it'll work.
Yep. Spray WD-40 all over it.
So, how much time a week do you guys spend working on, like, I know Barton, you tend to work a lot on website and forum stuff. Erratic, you tend to work more on bot type stuff. How much time a week do you guys spend working on that stuff?
Go ahead, Erratic. I spend way too much.
For me, it really depends on how the week's going. I'm still in school, so a lot of things can change very quickly with my week, but I'll try to spend maybe like 8 hours a week. I'll try to spend 8 hours a week working on different coding things and stuff with Squad Ops, but sometimes I can get more than that, sometimes I can't quite make that, but I try my best and use my time wisely.
All right, cool. What about you, Barton?
So I spend probably I'd say between like 25 to 30 plus, depending on the week. I spend a lot.
That is a pretty heavy part-time job.
It is. It feels full time.
How's the pay?
They kept talking about the peanuts that we're supposed to get, and I've yet to receive mine. So
We'll have to get staff to pitch in, because I mean, it really is invaluable as like all the work that you guys have done with integrating. I mean, just about everything. Some of the things the bot does for us is amazing. Like automatically assigning perms.
Well, I
To
think the
people.
most critical thing that we ever made, which was something that like we had to have from almost day one. Actually, the first week we started doing things or like having public come in, the I had to make it because Hyper and like everyone else, it was like Hyper was really the one like dedicating his time to it. We used to have a channel in Discord where everyone had to post their Steam 64 IDs, and then Hyper would then take those Steam 64 IDs and then manually have to add them to the config files on every single one of our servers, so that way people could get death cam when they go down. So that little piece of that automatically does that using the forums. Like when people register and having to put their Steam 64 ID in there, it automatically then every night takes all the new people that registered and adds their Steam 64 IDs to all of our servers and gives the death cam perm on our event ones. So like that little piece of like technology, if you want to call it that little script, which is the same script since the week I built it, I might add, has been critical to our growth. I mean, it would have been impossible to do what we do without. It would have been a nightmare having 8 people manually add all these Steam 64 IDs to 4 servers.
What's our number on the forums? How many 64 IDs would have had to have been added by now?
That is a good over, probably close to 3,000 by now.
Yeah, that's a crazy number.
Almost 3,000.
It is amazing what the bot and all of this integration has been able to do for us, and we owe you 2 a beer, each of you.
I can't drink yet.
So how, like, I understand Hyper obviously was very interested in that sort of ability for the bot to be able to do that sort of stuff. But like, how long does coding something like that take? Like building that command for the bot to automatically.
It's relative. So for that little script that does that, since it's pretty much standalone, it's independent. It's actually the only thing I have running on. It's got its own server basically, just because I haven't migrated yet to our new stuff since it's it's worked, and so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But so like that would take maybe like 2 hours, maybe 3 if you run into an issue or 2. But now I've worked on rebuilding that part into our new systems that we're working on, and it's taken double that just because of the complexity has changed. So the more stuff that you have like going on, the more kind of wheels turning, the harder it is to, or not harder, it's just more work you have to do to add a piece like that, especially if it's not ready for it, or the architecture wasn't out of the box made to handle that.
Okay. What's the longest thing that you've had to spend time working on? Is there anything that's taken like a month to get working right, or?
Ooh, that is a really good question. Irada can answer that while I try to think of something.
This still isn't completely working, but I mean, it's we are trying to set up a sort of roll call, like automatic roll call system, because right now we have like what somebody has to print off, or not print off, find a list and go through it, make sure everyone shows up in the Discord channel for an operation. And my job was setting up a roll call command, and this is the roll call command was my first experience with actually developing on our API, because before that I was always developing specifically for the bot and its own sort of standalone program. And since we had it integrated with the API, I had to learn how we have everything set up, because I wasn't originally working on this. I learned how everything was set up. I had to learn this new sort of thing we build on called Node.js. We might touch into that a little more later. And so right now it's kind of working. I forget exactly what isn't working, but I know it's not to the point where we can actually start using it. But
we paused it because all the infrastructure is changing.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah, it took like, I don't know, 2 weeks to even get the base setup for that going. But yeah, that was the hardest thing I've done so far with squad ops.
Yeah, I don't really have any like one kind of single like. Oh, I do. Oh no, I do. Archon. Archon was a pain. Um, oh, that was like my living nightmare. Just because like weird stuff was just always happening. But thankfully, some of the fine folks at Finding Honey Badgers, one of their devs actually was able to help me out and like fix the issue that they ran into. But unlike myself, he was actually able to figure out what the underlying problem was, fix it, and then provide us with his code, his source code to get it working on our end. And ever since then, we haven't really had too many issues with Archon. Every now and again, we do, but that's normally because I'm trying to push it past its limits.
So we had a wonderful description of what the API was, but for those who may not know, can you explain a little bit about what Archon functionality is and what that
Oh,
helps us
sure.
do?
Great point. So Archon is basically similar to the API. Archon is the single way that you can communicate with squad servers and most or many other game servers. It's the primary just communication method. So I know one frequent question I get a lot is like, what all can we do with Archon? Basically, it allows us to send commands to the squad servers and have it return that response back to us. The commands that we can send are the same exact ones you can do in game. So, like show next map, or list players, or admin broadcast, admin change map, those kind of things, those direct like console commands we can send from programmatically from the bot, from our API, from our website, from wherever. So without having to be actually in game. Um,
Archon also, it helps a lot with our admins, so they don't have to start up the game to check up on the servers.
Yep. Yeah. So for all of you that use like that squad command, how it gets that information, like the current map, the player counts, that's all from using Archon as the communication method to the individual servers themselves. And I see someone asked, what is an API? An API is basically the communication layer between all of those systems. So Archon relays its information to the API, and the API then relays that information onto everything else. So basically, when you do like the squad command, the apostrophe squad bot command, what that does is it sends that command to the bot, which is a server running that like is monitoring all those commands. And then once it receives that, it then sends that command to the API. The API figures out, all right, what is it? Okay, it's a squad command. What does it need? It needs the server or the squad server information. It goes, pulls the squad server information, and then sends it back to the person that sent that command. Also, like when you log into the forums or you register on the website, that communication of what's happening there is all flowing through the API. It's basically the communication between everything.
All right. Well, thanks for both of those explanations because I know for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people that are watching the stream, most of that tech stuff, as far as like programming and anything development stuff like that, stuff that I don't really get very deep into and have very little knowledge of. So it's always helpful to get explanations. All right. So as far as like bot forums, website, anything like that, have either of those reached a point where you're kind of happy where they're at, or are you just in kind of a developer mode all the time where you're just constantly trying to improve, make things better?
I'd say that we're always trying to make things better. Analogy I always use is like an artist never considers their work finished because they always see the imperfections in it, even though no one else can. And I feel like that's even more true in development because there's so many times where I've like rebuilt something on our back end that there is no functional difference whatsoever. No one, like there's going to be no impact on the website. It does nothing. but except like it was flawed in my opinion of just how it was formatted, like how the code was formatted, like going in and changing it. So things like that will always happen, and there's always new technologies coming out that we're taking advantage of. And a new update we got coming out, we're going to be we'll actually be on the cutting edge of kind of some web technologies that most websites don't use and probably won't be using for a very long time because of their development cycles, and will be some of the first large platforms utilizing it.
Wow. I mean, that's awesome to hear. But speaking of the website, you're talking about like implementing new technologies into the website. Like, did you guys use like a site builder to build all that stuff? Like like a template to get things going there, or like how did the website come to be?
Everything you see, with the exception of the forums, was all someone on Webdev team pounding away at the keyboard to make it come to life.
Wow. So no like Squarespace, anything like that. It's 100% from the ground up, built by our staff.
Yeah, we use like frameworks and libraries, of course, which is like our tools and for us to use. But I mean, it's to build that, like you still start from a blank canvas, and then maybe you pull in some like boilerplate, which is like maybe some rough templates of just getting the basics done. But you know, I would say 80% of what goes on, 80-90% is all us having to set up in some way.
Wow. I mean, that's really cool to hear, and it makes you understand a little bit more why you're putting 25 hours a week into building this thing, because I mean, it really, starting from scratch is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and we're
Um,
right now in the process of rebuilding everything from the ground up, 100%.
whew. So how'd you get that wild hair? Was there some features you wanted that you didn't think you'd be able to put into our current website and bot, or are you trying to?
Honestly, I got pissed off at our forums one day. I don't remember what for. It was probably something minor in the grand scheme of things, but I got really pissed off with our forum software, and I just kind of said, screw it. I hate how this works. This is a horrible system, and we're going to make our own. And in doing the research of that, of planning out our own forum system, which we're building, there was some new web technologies that I was kind of briefly talking about before that I wanted to take advantage of, one of them being called WebSockets, which is basically like a way to communicate
Yes.
information in real time. So because we were going to be doing that huge leap, and because the forums, believe it or not, is actually a major part of all of our systems, because it handles all of our user management and permissions, everything on Discord permissions, staff perms, server perms, like admins, everything is actually at the core of it run off of the forums. And we want more tools and accessibility and be able to have it work better. So we changed I kind of replanned how we're doing it based on this new forum system, and then just pulled it up from there, of removing all of our systems onto the new forums that we're building and utilizing the new technology and having everything just be awesome.
So are there any new features that might come with the website, or
Um,
maybe some secret
features.
stuff?
So we always get a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline. Um, as everyone on staff should be well aware, WebDev always has cool stuff in the pipeline. Um, Explicit features, not as much, but the experience and how like a user on the website interacts with it, and from just kind of, yeah, I'd say their overall experience and their interaction is going to dramatically change. So everything will be more fluid. It's going to be real-time responsive. You'll see things happening as they happen. So the example I always use to help people visualize. So if you go to register for one of our ops, instead of actually like going through that registration page, which there will be something that exists in that form, but you'll actually do it from the roster. and you'll see all the slots available for that you can register for, and you'll see live as people register for them. So those of you that kind of keep hitting F5 for Hyper to push the next month's calendar live, you'll see as people register when they register. It will fill before your eyes without you having to reload the page. So those kind of systems will be all throughout the website, everywhere.
Wow.
Basically, my idea was like, let's take Discord and use like how Discord functions and has that kind of experience. And bring that forward to our forums, make our forums more like Discord, and let's bring that forward to the website. So that same kind of level of interaction experience can be held that they would experience with Discord.
I mean, that's huge. That's awesome. I think it'll get a lot more people using the forums instead of what we have right now is a lot of people using just our Discord.
Yeah, that's the central plan. I know if I can get Muff to use the forums, the new forums, I have completed my goal. And I've got a couple tricks up my sleeve of things that are super secret that I think will accomplish that.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait to see him roll out.
Yeah.
So let's see, Erratic, do you have like a dream feature for the bot that maybe you just don't have enough time to put in to make it do? Do you not or it would take a lot of research to figure out how to get the bot to do it? Is it like what is your one thing that like you wish you could get the bot to do?
I think if it could accept voice commands, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
I don't think we really have a reason for it at all, but it'd just be pretty cool to see. Hey, OpsBot, do this, or hey, OpsBot, do that.
Could there I'm sure this is probably just as much of a stretch as making it accept voice commands. Is there a way that it could hop onto your Discord channel and spit the response back at you, like vocally in some way? That could
Yes.
be kind of cool.
I've actually toyed around with that, not with OpsBot. Like I was messing around with my own bot, like just as a toy, and I was able to get it to actually say things in channels, but I would have to tell it exactly what to say. But it would take a lot to implement it the way that we want it to, and way for it to be like a nice, clean setup.
Wow, yeah, that would be really cool. What about you, Barton? Is there a dream feature for any of the platforms that you work on, forums, website, anything like that, that you just don't have the time or?
Yeah, well, it's something that I couldn't make, at least not until there's maybe further mod support, and something I've talked about with our mod dev team of exploring possibilities of. But I would love to get an API to Squad itself. For our servers, I should say. So that way we can get things like the who's in what squad, who has what kit, what are the teams, what are their kills, what are the deaths, and basically try to get
Where people
anything
are.
that we could. Yeah, player positions, everything. What vehicles are up, what vehicles are down, what's the ticket counts, what are the flags. Like as much information as data as possible. I would love to get that. I know that Dr. Kamikaze, one of our web dev members on the web dev team, he is just going over the logs like crazy and working on parsing them to actually extract some of that information out of them, because the servers do log some of that stuff. I think we figured out that they log squads, kits, and teams, but it is not simple at all. It is very complicated, and I love that he's spearheading that and excited to try to see if he can do it. And that's what he's been working on. So there's some things we're basically getting desperate of looking at anything that we can to get some of that information. And I know like Kami, he's been working on that. But yeah, having an API to Squad would be my dream thing.
So if we were to be able to really parse out that information in all of that like, I'm sure, wall of text that he gets from there. Like, what would be the things that you like really want to do? So like, obviously you could look at like who's in what squad. Like maybe you could see, like, it would tell you like there have been certain team kills and like stuff that admins could really use, or like what exactly would you be trying to do with that information?
So a lot of things. Like well, admins would have a ton of benefit from it as well. Like from Oh man, my mind can just race. So what we could do is if you could get things like player positions, you could actually then recreate the map on like a website. So you'd be able to see, then grab like the mini map image that they can view, and then actually plot where all the players are and have it move as they actively move and when they die. I mean, you basically could watch a battle like unfold like on a website for a certain server. You could like for people like Johnny, when he does his streams, instead of him, which I'm assuming he manually changes the flag statuses in his streams, he'd be able to like that'd be automatic and programmatically be updating as it happens. And you'd get like, if someone's capping, if someone's not capping, all those events and all those systems, you could, I mean, it'd be endless. I'm already sounding like a kid in a candy store over it, because like there's so much utility that you can do in things like that and really propel, squad forward, squad ops, all the other communities forward, because there's so much valuable information there of things you can do with it. I mean, it is literally endless.
Okay, so what you're saying is that right now the game actually does output all of this information. It's just figuring out a way to. Oh, it doesn't.
Oh, sorry. What they currently output, I don't fully know. Dr. Kamikaze on the Webdev team, he would know the better answer to it. So I know we can get kits. We can know when people die. We can know who kills someone. We can know like when someone heals. We can know when someone joins a squad, and we know what team they load into and when they switch teams. So there's very limited information, but there's enough there where you can piece the puzzle together to figure out what's going on. So like it doesn't explicitly ever tell you like, here's all the people on team A, here's all the people on team B. Not really. My understanding is that it says when like, oh, this person joined the server, they're on this team. Oh, here they changed teams. So you'd have to actively go through every single line as it comes in into huge files. I mean, huge text files. I mean, some of them get into the hundreds of megabytes of parsing every single line, of trying to keep a track of what is going on. So that's what is currently in the files. So there's some things, but the things that are there are very difficult to work with. Instead of if you had like an API where it would be, I mean, just tell the server like, hey, give me all the squads for, the Blue 4 team. Boom, here's all the squads. Here's everyone in the squad. Here's their kits, and just give you back the data when you need it, instead of figuring it out.
So I could imagine like being an admin team member myself, like getting a message on our Discord saying that like somebody is somebody's team killing, and we could look that just immediately, just, hey bot, can I get the team kill information for the last 5 minutes? And it could show me like this person is team killed 4 times and like that sort of information.
Yeah.
Like that would be sort of an end goal of what's available currently.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure if team kills are in there. They could be. Like I suppose if it says who it kills, you would then probably have to extrapolate back to see if the player object that like if player A kills player B, you'd have to look to see, okay, what was player A on and what is player B on, and see if they're on the same team. Then, okay, it was a team kill. Now let's notify in Discord. It probably is doable, but I'm not personally the developer on it, so I don't know 100% for sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like some really cool features. It might be something that it could be worth maybe talking to OWI and seeing if there's a better way that we could get the game to output this information that we could work with. I'm seeing Muff right now in our chat is saying that team kills are actually in that.
Oh, cool.
But he said he's looked over the logs, and for maybe a day's worth of information, there was about 700,000 lines of text when he was trying to find one small piece of information in there. So
Yeah,
I
ironically,
mean,
before we
go ahead.
started this, I was telling Creeping and Erratic that I'm on a Mac right now, so Finder, basically the Windows equivalent or the Mac equivalent of Windows Explorer, crashed because as I was going through files, I accidentally like hit spacebar, which is like a preview of one of the log files that was like 110 megabytes, and it completely crashed Finder on a Mac. So huge files, absolutely huge.
Wow.
Yes, Hyper said it pretty well. It's just logs are way too messy to find what you want right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now, how exactly do you get the bot to work with Squad to figure out how many people are on the servers? Then are you doing that through? I mean, our server provider is Blue Fang. When I ask the bot, when I type in the command for Squad and it tells me the server info, is that going through the game itself, or is it going to like Blue Fang and Blue Fang's telling us?
It's through Archon.
It's through that Archon, so it
Mhm.
goes okay.
Yeah, Archon is able to tell us. Well, so Archon is able to do the same commands you can do in game. So one of the in-game console commands you can do is list players, and it'll basically tell you all the names and IDs of the server and their Steam 64 IDs of everyone in it. So basically, we just count how many of those there are.
Okay, yeah,
But we
that makes
could not
sense.
from that get how many are on which team. We can only get the total in the server.
Okay, so it can. I understand what you're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, moving on. Have you guys found any kind of crazy or fun glitches or bugs when you've been working on these sort of things?
Ooh.
I know
I
one that Barton showed me.
Oh, is it the registration one?
I'm not totally sure. It's like you had an if statement. Like I'll explain this in a second. Just making sure it's the right one. You had an if statement and an else statement, and both of them were being executed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that
Barton
was.
discovered quantum computing one day. It's like you have an if statement, which if you're not really if you don't really understand what an if statement is, it checks if something is true, and if it is, it does whatever you told that if statement to do. And an else statement says you do this, or if that previous if statement was not true. So Barton had a if statement, and he had, like everything looked normal, like how a normal if else statement would look like. But both the if and the else statement were executing, which it's supposed to be only one executes, not the other. It's not supposed to be possible. So Barton had discovered quantum computing that day.
I sure felt like it because I didn't understand what was going on.
I imagine
Yeah,
that would that like crash programs or
Yes.
yeah, it'd crash things. Things wouldn't work. There'd be bugs things like that, which do happen from time to time, probably more frequently than I'd like to say. But yeah, those are the times where you spend like a day or two trying to figure out what this one thing is like going on. But normally, it's good to get in the habit of just working around it. Like, oh, that way's not working for whatever reason. Time just to like go back to the drawing board, do something else to get it done. Because you can be stuck on like that
50%.
rabbit hole forever.
50% of the time, it's just you forgot one little character and it messed everything up.
Yep, and I guarantee you that's probably what that issue was somewhere, or like it was being like who knows? I don't remember.
I can
Must have
imagine
God.
having to sift through that is very frustrating to try and find what went wrong.
Yep.
I'm watching the stream right now, and Muff is just being God.
He's just being Muff. That's his
Yeah,
day to day.
that's much for you. So
All right.
if you could get the squad devs to do one thing that would help your lives so
API.
much when it comes, it would be the API.
Hands down, that is the single thing that they could do that would benefit myself, and I'm sure any community who's got like a semi-technical person. That would be the single most thing that I think they could do to benefit them. I mean, hell, I still get fatal errors from time to time. I would rather still have the fatal errors and have the API. But that's just me.
All right. Erratic, anything from you on like a dream feature that OWI could implement in squad that would help you so much with what you do here?
Well, I play squad here. If they could make it somehow easier for me, because I'm not that great of a squad player. It's not related to web dev, but I mean, find some way to make me better.
Watch Muff. That's what I did.
I'm trying.
There you go. Well, I think we'll cut it there. I think we've learned a lot about you guys and what web dev team does and how it interacts with the game. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time apart to do this little interview for us.
For sure.
Yeah, so thanks to Barton and Erratic. Again, I'm Creeping. And if you guys are interested in squad ops and our One Life events, being part of our community, again, you can register for the website that we've been talking about for this last half an hour, 40 minutes or so at squadops.gg. Play on any of our servers. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.